All right, what's going on? It's Bobby Skinner doing a film breakdown on Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy. Obviously, this guy is a polarizing player. So for this breakdown, what I'm basically going to do is go through my notes on him. We're going to look at throws of like every major note I have. We're going to look at the arm velocity, the throws that he makes over the middle of the field, throws on the run. Those are like the positives. Then we'll look at some of the negatives, like I think touch, sideline inaccuracy, and not reading safeties the correct way. And then we'll finish it off just showing you off his athletic ability, which if you're watching this, you've been able to see that. But this guy truly is a polarizing player because you see talent, but is he worthy of a top 10 pick? So we'll do the film on it, and I'll let you guys make your own conclusions. So let's get into it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Obviously, this is a Giants channel, but we have other draft film breakdowns on our JM football channel. So first play, this is versus Washington in the national championship. This is my favorite throw. I went through 8 games of film on him. This was my favorite throw of his by far. So we've got play action, and he's going to put a ball in there on Roman Wilson. All right. So we've got our play action. This player's running a deep end, and then you've got Roman Wilson on this, dig over. So JJ's reads are one, this player right here, and then this player. Like if this safety crashes down, then we're going to throw this ball right here. That safety, gets with Roman Wilson, but he's, not crashing down on it. He's running with him. Now we have this player trying to get back into this window, and this is where you see the velocity that people really like about J.J. McCarthy is here. And you're going to see it from the end. I mean, he just puts this ball on a rope. This is a perfect pass. This is my favorite throw, right? There's other really good throws we're going to go through where people can nitpick them. This one, I don't think there's any way, right? We've got... right over this linebacker's head. Roman Wilson doesn't have to slow down at all, perfectly in stride, and allows him to get some extra yak. That's a beautiful, beautiful throw. Those are the types of throws that make people like J.J. McCarthy. Here's on a similar type of play. Again, play action. We're going to throw the over. Bam. Right, we're reading this player right here. This safety bails. Now we got to make sure this player isn't coming to cut this off. This linebacker is flowing with this player right here. Right, if this linebacker backs out here, we're going to throw this ball right here, get ourselves a nice little gain on second down. Good timing, puts it in there perfectly. Good placement. You can turn your head, find your players that you're reading, put it on them. Don't put them into a too big of a hit. Good play. Next play. This is a 3rd and 7. We're getting ready to face a blitz. All right, so we're going to put Roman Wilson on this crosser. All right, so we've got pressure coming down the pipe. Great release here by Roman Wilson. He's got the separation. We're running verticals here. We got the underneath, the shallow. All right, this is just a great, hey, we've got pressure coming. This is 3rd and long. We've got to get the ball out quick. Right, we've got someone right here in his face, hand up. And with that pressure in your face, get the ball out there a little bit behind him. But with that pressure in your face, that's a really good throw. And now you're extending a drive and potentially adding points on the board. Here versus Michigan State. Now this is a free play, right? You see the defensive end jump right here, so they call a penalty on it. So this corner is matching, right? But we've got verts, right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We're running verticals. So JJ is reading this safety. If this safety stays on us to this tight end right here, and again, we've got a little more confidence. We've got the offsides, and this guy who I think is a dude and is going to be like a top tight end in the next class. Let's put that ball in some velocity. Let's let him box out versus a smaller defender, and bam, puts it on him. All right, we've got this guy that jumps right here. We're reading the safety that's, not shown on your screen right here, who's watching here. And you see how he's just able to put that ball on a rope. Allows his tight end to make a play, box him out. 6 points for Michigan. And then here versus Minnesota, the tight end ends up dropping it, right? But we're going to have a switch release up here on play action. And we fire this ball in there. Like, no fear of this safety creeping over here. All right, so we switch release. We've got him working up the seam. Could argue that the ball, like I don't even think you can argue that the ball can get out quicker, right? Because if he throws it right here, because you can see some of the leverage, this player may take, maybe reading that and taking that out. And plus, we're getting off of play action too. We're reading this player. We're keeping him honest. Bam, fired in there. And you'll see from the other view, I mean, this ball gets in there hot. Hey, he ends up dropping it. Good job by the safety getting his helmet on the ball or his hands on the ball. But again, that guy's supposed to be a highly rated guy. That could be 6 right there. I mean, just watch him fire it in. Now, these are more simplistic reads, and I want to go over some of the middle of the field reads, looking with, that one's not simplistic, but like with anticipation. And these next middle of the field fired in type throws, you need all the arm strength, but they're a little more complicated reads. You have to get the timing just perfect. You have to manipulate some defenders to get guys where you want them. So let's go through those. This one that you're watching right now versus Ohio State. This is the one throw you could argue that I think it could be better than that Washington one. And I remember watching this one live, and this one was nuts. So you bring Roman Wilson in here in motion, right? We got man coverage, right? We got the player, the DB works with them. We got man coverage. And then you have this safety playing underneath, right? Trying to cut out everything underneath. And J.J., and then this safety playing deep. You have J.J. just whizzes it past this safety's ears, right? And you'll see it better from this angle. That little bit of movement right there in the pocket gets this safety moving with you. And then he throws it right over his head. Now, you might say, hey, that could have easily been an interception. But McCarthy had a quote about this, was asked about this throw, and was like, hey, we saw this on film. We saw that his eyes don't get on the ball once he finds his read, and we knew he could kind of throw it past his head. Now, will you get that same type of safety in the NFL? I don't know, but you will be able to find tendencies, and you got to have the confidence to pull the trigger on it. And this is also a 3rd and 10 throw, and this is a perfect throw, right? We got our feet set, wham! You see that velocity on it? Beautiful. I mean, that's big reason why they, made it to the playoffs. That win over Ohio State, this play. Here, this next play, we can put our tight end in motion, and we're going to get ourselves another touchdown. They're in a zone coverage. We're running verse with this shallow right here. He could be weak and throw this shallow because it's there. But instead, hey, guess what? This safety's rotating, is staying with Roman Wilson. So now this safety has to make a decision on one of these two players. Can't cover both of them. So the safety works outside of the hashes. Okay, we're going to throw it right past this linebacker's head. Wham, fires in there. I mean, you see the velocity. Again, we're going to throw it right past this player's head. Read that safety. He's playing the other tight end. Bam. I mean, right past his head. Perfect ball placement. Like that, you cannot have placed that ball any better. 6 points versus Michigan. Here, the ball ends up being dropped. But versus man coverage, similar look to the one we saw at Ohio State, where this safety plays down, this safety plays deep. We've got a switch release up top. All right, so we're getting up the seam, but hey, we got to throw it past this guy's head. We got to throw it past this player. So just perfect timing on it, you'll see. Past this, right over those hands. Perfect placement. Receiver ends up dropping it, unfortunately for J.J. Here's a more simplified one. This is a wave concept. This is something that Brian Dable likes to run, where you've got the deep post, and then you're going to run these two 15-yard ins, and you're trying to occupy this player and then have this zone open. But just a good job. This is not the most complex one, but hey, make sure this player doesn't pass this off over here. It's there. Good timing. Hit Roman Wilson for a big play. Easy. Here versus Ohio State, not down the field, but like little stuff like this, right? So we're going to motion our tight end. He's going to run this slant, right? So our first read is this linebacker, right? So if this linebacker steps over here, we're going to try and get the ball back to Roman Wilson over here. But instead, he works over here, so our eyes are over here. Now we got this slant. We want to keep this player, instead of undercutting this and not having anywhere to go, we want him to be occupying out here in his zone. So you see J.J. watch the shoulders. Bam, right? And you see how that messes with this player? Like, the tight end's running a slant, but you watch this slot defender hesitate to, oh, maybe they're going to run a pivot route on me. You'll see it from the other angle. Bam, right? Just that quick. And it's got to be quick, because then you're going to get this linebacker over here. Good stuff. This next one's an RPO in the national championship, right? So it's not the greatest read, but perfect timing. You got to put that ball in a good spot. All right, get your tight end for some yak play. So this is an RPO. We're reading these linebackers, so this window's supposed to be open. But guess what? We've got this player in the picture. We've got this safety up here, right? So we got to get good timing on this. We cannot wait for him to get into this window, because then this player is going to cut that off, right? And guess what? Our right tackle's getting beat inside. We got to get that ball out. So we throw it hot. Tight end's got to go up for it, but still, get that ball out quick. Nice little RPO. Tight end gets some yak. And then here versus Alabama, gonna run some play action on the toss. And again, just good velocity, good timing, right? This player is going to cut it over here, right? So we can't wait for him to get past this defender, because then this safety is going to get it off. You see from the other angle, fire it in. A lot of it's to this tight end. This dude's kind of a baller. We got to miss the referee. So again, you see like that middle of the field stuff that a lot of college players and pro prospects just don't have, that middle of the field aspect. They're afraid to throw, not afraid, but they're just hesitant to throw over the middle, because there's a lot more traffic and a lot more that you have to do. Now, the next thing is what I think is J.J. McCarthy's like best, physical ability to do at the next level, something that can put him ahead of different quarterbacks in the NFL. And that's, one, the ability to throw the ball on the run accurately, but also with velocity. Now, in this, you're going to see some really good, like you're seeing right now. I'll show you a play that's just bad, and then I will show you some good despite some, maybe wrong reads in it. But first play here versus Alabama. This is what I thought his best play was in that Alabama game. I don't look at the trick play as something that I'm converting to the NFL. Like I'm not using that in analysis, even though it's a cool play. So this is 3rd and long. Bama's blitzing, and you can see 32 gets off the edge free, right? So J.J. McCarthy's forced to scramble. There's no throw within structure that he can make. This player's cutting this off. This player's cutting this off. 3rd and 9. That's not going to happen. And you see the blitzer right here, so he couldn't wait out on this. So let's get out and create, right? There's nothing downfield. Let's get out and create. You see him be able to escape the pocket, get back to the sideline, and bam, fired in there. You'll see it from the other angle. Right? We want to stay in structure, but it's not there. Get out. Let's find number 6 right here. Wham! Puts it in there. 1st down. Let's extend the drive. Here versus Ohio State. Going to get pressure. Escape to the sideline. Again, really nice. We've got this play action. This is bracketed. This isn't getting open. This isn't really part of the progression in this. The check's not there. We've got pressure out here. Let's get to the sideline. Let's find our guy. And let's fire it in. So he feels that pressure really well. Keep your eyes downfield. Bam, right on the sideline. Beautiful stuff. Next play here versus Michigan State. This ends up being a touchdown to Roman Wilson. Now, you could get nitpicky on this one, and the other ones, the next two, I'm going to critique a little more, because we're reading out here. Like, in reality, this corner's bailing. You could throw this hitch, but that's a far throw to be making, right? Like, you got to get the timing on that just perfect, so I can understand not wanting to pull the trigger on it, and especially with the pressure that you have coming down the pipe as offensive line doesn't pick up a stunt. We'll see from the other angle how he's able to make those guys miss in the pocket, and that's another thing he does pretty well is pocket manipulation. Like, we want to get to the number 2 and number 3. We've got this pressure, right? Sees it. Get up in the pocket. A lot of guys at this point just take off and get the gain they can. Nope, keep your eyes downfield. You see Roman Wilson coming across. Puts it on him. 6 points. Now we're going to run play action boot. Finds a tight end in the back. Now, and we'll talk about throws like this a little later when we're talking about some of the negatives in his game. In reality, this is a throw that I think we should be making, right? Like this play, like essentially just reading this outside defender. If he goes and takes this, we throw it to the flat. And then this is 1st and 10 too. Like, I would like to see him pull the trigger on this. Now, maybe this is what they want, is him coming back, because he does get back to it quick, even though this is here. Like, that's a throw that you can very well make. See it. Get it on him. Touchdown. Now, this next play, I think this read is just bad, right? And it's not as obvious that this is going to get open, but he does complete this for a nice big chunk play. 15-yard pass or 17-yard pass. So the read, we have these 2 tight ends right here, right? Stacked release. We got this tight end on the over, running this shallow cross, and this tight end sitting. This is the defender we're reading, right? He's occupying this middle linebacker. We're looking at this. This is open, right? This is something you should pull the trigger on. This is 1st down. Pull the trigger on this. Or sorry, this is 3rd and long. I don't know why I said 1st down. This is 3rd and long. I know that this is technically short of the sticks, but this is the throw that you were looking to open up. Right? You're not going to, this is 3rd and long, so this corner is going to back up and take this. Like, yeah, could you maybe, if the pressure wasn't there, pull the trigger on this throw? Yeah, but that's a lot tougher throw than this. This is the throw you want to make. And then if you keep your eyes on this and this player picks it off, then you take your gain and hopefully this player can get some yak. But he scrambles and makes a way, right? And that's sometimes what being a good quarterback is out. It's like when you do make mistakes, being able to make up with the athletic ability, like that ball should be out in reality. But you make up for it. Your tight end comes across the field. Throw across your body. 1st down, right? So is it perfect? Is it exactly how we drew up? No, but gets a good result on it. Now this is bad. This is the first play of the Alabama game. First of all, why aren't we throwing this? This is easy. This is day 1 stuff. Throw this. Why are we not throwing this? Why are we looking back across the field? Why are we not throwing it? I mean, it's there. It's there early. Like, you should be reading it. If you're reading it right now, you're like, okay, that's going to be open. It's there on time. It's there late. You should be pulling the trigger on that. Instead, he just keeps drifting. And then I don't know if he's throwing this ball away. This ended up being called out of bounds. But this very well could have been, and this is first play of the game. Like, I don't know if this is his jitters or what, and we'll see it from this angle. Like, I'm going to assume that he's thrown this ball away, but still, I mean, that could shake the champ. That could be the difference of winning a national championship in right there. I mean, he's lucky that he wasn't able to get his feet down on that. These next 8 throws are part of my big worry with J.J. McCarthy is just throwing the deep ball outside the numbers towards the sideline. There's just inaccuracies, and does that come from arm talent? Like, it doesn't throw with great touch, right? So there's going to be a little bit of both on these. So let's go through this first throw here versus Alabama. All right, we're going to have a deep out. I mean, that's there. And we're just missing badly. We're throwing it into the bench. You know, you can't see the ball great with that sunlight. You can see it from this angle. I mean, we're just sailing that over his head. That should be a nice chunk completion. Here versus Washington up top, right? You're going to get a nice little hole shot. And he just kind of struggles to throw with touch. Now, this is a ball you want to get, fire in there anyways. But again, this is where we want this ball to hit, right? We've got to hit it in between here. And again, it just goes into the bench. All right, but those are the ones that he's like trying to fire in there on a rope. Here we're going to throw a slot fade. And this is it consistently, the ball gets underthrown. All right. Roman Wilson wins. This should be a nice, easy chunk play. Instead, this ball is underthrown. It allows the DB to get into the catch space. Incomplete. Like, his footwork is good, right? We're pointing to where we want to throw. He's got a good release. And it just consistently happens like that, right? And even like this throw down here, right? This is a quick out, a speed out, gets thrown in the dirt. And I'm not going to put 20 plays of this, but even when this is more open, right? When this is zone, and the receiver's here, and say this DB is here, he'll complete a lot of these, but they're never really on. Like, have him the receiver in stride. Like, they're basically having to come to a stop, and that just takes away from yak. And they were able to get some yak out of those plays because it's, college football. But in the NFL, you're not going to be able to, those are going to turn into, 15-yard gains or 10-yard gains are going to turn into 4 or 5-yard gains if that happens. Or if it's, if it's 5'8" Wan'Dale Robinson, you're just going to have less margin of error that he had at Michigan with a lot of space. Here, this is a touchdown switch release to the tight end. Not even switch release. This double move, and he's getting hit on this. So this was like the games that went like the best sideline throw. But even then, this is more about the pressure, right? But this is a good throw. But at the same time, we're not really throwing this deep. This is 25 air yards. But you do see him consistently be able to play pretty well while taking hits, right? He knows he's going to take a hit, gets the ball out there. Here again versus Minnesota. We're going to throw to the right sideline. And see how there's just no touch on this ball? Like, this receiver, you got the safety play in the middle of the field. We got a one-on-one. We take it, right? And the ball just has no touch and it ends up hitting the DB's feet. Right, like not even a chance for anybody to even go and adjust the ball. It's just hitting the receiver's DB's feet. So has no touch and it's being underthrown. This next play, we're going to read this center field safety. We're going to throw vertical. Again, out to the bench. I would say you got more space on this side, but still, Roman Wilson's your best receiver. We're just missing. This ball's going out into the bench. And that happens like a lot. Here versus Michigan State. Get the vertical up top. Hey, you can't plan on this DB tripping. he's thrown before that. But you good job reading this corner's leverage, right? Okay, let's throw this ball. This safety's not getting over the top. And we don't put any touch on it. We try and throw it on a rope. And it's out of his hands. So that just shows up really consistently. You can show me a play here or there where he does get it done, but more times than not, this is what the deep sideline throws or even quick sideline throws are looking like for J.J. McCarthy. These next 7 throws, we're going to look at J.J. McCarthy throwing against safety leverage or the lack thereof of throwing these throws. And there's 2 ways to look at this. The positive way would be hey, he's young. This can be figured out. And it can be. There's quarterbacks do get better at doing this. The other side of it, though, is that, we're passing up a lot of these throws when we are playing defenses, college defenses, that are preparing for a Michigan offense that runs the ball 65% of the time. These are a lot of play action throws, and these are clean pockets, and we're not pulling the trigger on these throws. So why am I going to bet that, hey, when he gets to the NFL level, when there's going to be more pressure, you're going to have to make these decisions quicker, safeties aren't going to be as undisciplined, that he's going to start pulling the trigger on these throws. And then the second part of that is we just went and looked at the deep ball touch, the deep ball inaccuracy. Are we betting that, okay, not only is he going to figure that out at the NFL level, but is he going to be able to deliver on these throws when they're there? Because they're not going to be as open at the next level. So that's the debate with J.J. McCarthy. It's not that he can't get better. It's just if he does get better, what is it going to look like? So let's go through it. We got 7 plays. First play, we got heavy personnel. 1st and 10. Running this post corner with the tight end. And then this over route. First things first, why is this ball thrown on a rope like we were just talking about? This is a ball that needs touch. Put this ball out here, throw a touch instead. We lasered in there, and that's no good. The second part of this, which is what we're looking at in this segment of it, is the read. This is the read player right here. If this safety turns his hips and runs with this, like he does, then we throw the over because it's there. It's or this dig. It's there, right? If he crashes down on this, then we're making this throw, even though we don't really want to throw this. This is the throw that you want to make. This is higher completion rate. It's easier. It's a nice chunk play. But for some reason, we pass this up. And you'll see it from the other. We've got time. We're not right. This is here. Throw this ball. Instead, we'll put this ball on a rope. Ends up incomplete. Next play versus Michigan State. First quarter's coverage. We're running Yankee. Deep post. Over route. We throw the ball to the over route, and we shouldn't have. So this is versus quarter's coverage. So we got these 2 deep safeties. These corners playing their deep fourths. And this is the read player, right? We've got plenty of time to read. We've got as clean a pocket as you can ask for. This is the read player. If this safety bails back right here, then you time it up with these linebackers and you throw the over route. If the safety does what he does, which is crashes down on this, well, then look at all this grass we have. Look at all this grass we have with this leverage. And we got 6 points if you can put a good ball on your receiver. It doesn't even need to be a great ball. Just put a good, that's getting open, right? Throw against that leverage. Instead, this safety crashes, and we just want to, he wants to fire it in, right? And it's good timing, right? We get it past these linebackers, but the safety crashes on it. We've got an incompletion. Now we got 2nd and 10 instead of a touchdown. Here versus Michigan State, again, we got play action. We're going to run a deep post over here, a curl, and a flare by the running back. A 3-level read, right? It's play action. This is not timing. This is not like a spacing concept. This is a 3-level read. So the read is this player right here, right? Or at least the main read. If this player bails, then we're going to look underneath. If this corner, if this gets covered, then we're going to try and throw the flare to the running back. But this safety doesn't, right? He stays right here. He honestly doesn't do a good job of covering anybody on this. So this is wide open, and it's going to look worse from the other angle. This is what you want. You got time. Pull the trigger on this throw. Instead, you'll see from the other angle, we force this ball to the tight end, and it ends up being complete. But again, we're reading this player, right? This is opening up. Like if you see this player sitting here, right here, flat-footed, you know there's no one back here covering this. You have these two defenders right here. And it's not a spacing concept where you're trying to get the ball. Because, hey, if this was, hey, this is the first read on this, or this is the main objective, well, this ball should be out right now. Right? Instead, we sit on it. He's got to show himself. And then this linebacker flies over. Now, it's great ball placement to throw it away from that linebacker, right? Perfect ball placement, so that's good. But still, that's not the read you want. Here versus Minnesota, this ends up being completed. This is a variation of that Yankee concept where the over bends out. And we do a good job on the read on this, right? This safety takes this. So now we got this grass. Throw the ball. Throws the ball. Now this is part of the issue is that it's not accurate. It ends up being completed. Now, this corner runs straight past the ball. Great catch by your receiver. But it's still not a great ball. But hey, you play the results, you get yourself a completion. Next play, here versus Alabama. That wave concept that we talked about earlier. Right, they're in man coverage. Sorry, not man coverage. They're in man match. Let's read this safety. Right, we've got these two digs right here. We got the post. The post is there. It's there. This safety is playing this. The post is there. And we don't throw it. Instead, we're trying to throw this ball to the running back, right? Like, why are we getting to this part of this so early? Ends up scrambling. Now, this is the good thing of J.J. McCarthy is when he makes a mistake, there's a lot of times where he's able to scramble and make something out of it. And that's what he does on this, right? Scrambles, runs to his left, gets the ball to his back. Nice completion. You get down in the red zone. But why is he not pulling the trigger on that? You see him pull, pump faking the ball. Here we got a smash concept, a high-low read. We've got exactly what we want, and you watch. We don't pull. Why aren't we pulling the trigger on this? So we've got this player with the inside leverage, and this is the read right here. What does this player do? And a lot of times this guy will do a better job of playing both, right, to make this read harder, but he doesn't. He makes this read easy. Like he turns his hips and runs with this pivot route. So it's there. It's as open as this is ever going to get. This is as easy as a smash concept read as you'll ever get. And for some reason, with the clean pocket, we're just not pulling the trigger on that. Why are we not pulling the trigger on that? So instead of 6 points, we scramble around, and now we've got 2nd and 17. We got 2nd and 17 instead of 6 points on the board. Here versus Washington. Again, one of those 3-level high-low reads, like a combination of scissors and flood. So we're reading from high to low on this, right? And this player right here is really not part of the progression. He's essentially, what he does is what ends up happening. To occupy this safety. To occupy this safety for the post, right? To leave the post open. And it's there, right? We got play action. It's there. It's there. It does exactly its job. It occupies this safety. And instead, we don't pull the trigger, right? And it'd be one thing if you didn't pull the trigger on this, but this player wasn't here and this shot's here. But he does, but it's not there, right? The easier throw is not there. Pull the trigger on this post. This should be a chunk play in the national championship. Instead, we scramble. Now, we do get a chunk play out of it because he's able to scramble and make a throw. But again, it's tough to project that he's going to get so much better at these and throw these balls well when he does pull the trigger on them at the next level. Going to finish off with a couple things. We're going to just do one more passing play of this mesh concept, right? So, the short area stuff, I think he's pretty good at. He can be a tad late at times, but I just want to use this one throw because I think he's going to get better at that. That just needs more timing. But you see him, Ohio State runs this mesh concept, right? And they motion. You don't have anyone that follows in man. Right, so it's zone, which meshes in a great concept versus zone. And he's dealing with pressure, right? So you don't have all day to let these drive routes get out to here. And what I like that I think translates is the ability to throw these throws under pressure. You'll see from the other angle. I mean, he's got he's got a defensive tackle coming down the pipe on him, right? Like, we got to get this ball out quick with someone getting ready to hit us. Bam, put it on him, right? So if the Giants draft him, I will go through each individual game and every passing play. But just want to finish off showing what he is as an athlete, right? I don't need to explain it all to you guys. He's a pretty good athlete. You know, he's not the biggest guy, so you don't want to be running a bunch of QB power and stuff, but he's ability to make plays with his legs. So that's going to be a valuable thing. So finishing it off with J.J. McCarthy, I think he can be a good quarterback in the NFL, but I do think he has to be with the right system and with like a really good support system of players. I do have very serious questions. I don't view him as a top 10 pick. If he goes to the Minnesota Vikings, do I think he'll be pretty good? Yeah, I do. But my conclusion with J.J. McCarthy is not that I don't think he's capable of being a good QB. I just think in 5-6 years, you're going to be wanting more, right? And that's if you just hit the ceiling too. You're going to be wanting more, which is like, hey, is it a guarantee this guy's going to hit his ceiling? You know, when he's having to deal with, you know, more pressure. I know Michigan O-line wasn't great, but when it's consistent and you're, you know, having to throw the ball 60-65% of the time, I just don't know if that's the top 10 pick I would want to make a bet on. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe to the channel. Truly appreciate you guys. I know this is a long breakdown, but for quarterbacks, I feel like you've got to take your time and go and explain every reason why you think this and think that on a quarterback. So like and subscribe. See you on the next one.